Socrates, circa 469 to 399 BC, was an Athenian philosopher who left behind no written works. His thoughts reached us primarily through the writings of his pupil, Plato. Plato, circa 427 to 347 BC, in turn, founded the Academy in Athens and transformed philosophy into a systematic metaphysical framework. In 367 BC, a 17-year-old Aristotle entered Plato's academy, remaining there for nearly 2 decades. However, following Plato's death, he gradually drifted away from his mentor's theory of forms to carve his own intellectual path. As Werner Jaeger famously observed, Aristotle's departure was not an act of rebellion, but rather the necessary consequence of bringing philosophy down from the heavens to the earth. In contrast to Plato's world of immutable forms, Aristotle believed that studying a changing yet orderly nature would bring us closer to the truth. Thus, without outright rejecting metaphysics, he placed it at the service of science. This divergence is not merely a disagreement between two thinkers. It is a profound intellectual fault line that has determined the direction of human thought, the fate of science, and the place of societies on the stage of history. History is often told through wars, kings, and revolutions. Yet the true turning points in human destiny lie in which philosophy, which belief system, or rather, which foundational approach we place at the center of our lives. The two great philosophical veins that emerged in ancient Greece, the Socratic-Platonic line and the Aristotelian line, have shaped not only philosophy, but science, politics, art, and the very trajectory of civilization. Over millennia, these two paths have yielded different fruits across various geographies, one giving rise to theology, astrology, and metaphysics, the other fathering science, realism, and the modern world.
For Socrates and Plato, who systematized these ideas, truth exists outside and above the human experience. Everything we perceive in this world is flawed, fleeting, and incomplete. Reality resides in an immutable, absolute, and transcendent order, the world of ideas. As clearly seen in Plato's Republic and Timaeus, the world perceived through the senses is unreliable. Wisdom is only possible by looking beyond this realm. This perspective naturally laid the foundations of theology, directing humanity to seek the meaning of the universe in a divine order rather than in nature. Even astrology, which interprets the heavens and the ideals as the arbiters of human fate, finds its earliest seeds in this line of thought. Man is not the measure. God is. Consequently, pleasure is viewed with suspicion, or even as an evil. Pain and suffering are exalted as tools for purifying the soul. In truth, this is often a fallacy. Nietzsche's famous maxim, "What does not kill me makes me stronger," may hold meaning in specific contexts, but it is misleading when generalized. Not all pain strengthens, not all suffering fosters maturity. To glorify pain, or to present it as a goal or a virtue, is fundamentally flawed. When one encounters suffering, one must fight it and strive not to be crushed by it. Yet this struggle does not always result in empowerment. Some agonies do not propel a person forward, they drag them backward. To suggest that severe traumas, such as sexual assault or the total deprivation of human liberty, strengthen a person is both unrealistic and psychologically damaging. Such experiences are destructive rather than instructive. While pain undeniably has a transformative side, this transformation is not always positive. The objective, therefore, is not to sanctify pain, but to understand it and refuse to let it break the human spirit. Regrettably, almost all religions sanctify suffering, particularly idealizing the pain and agony endured for the sake of others. Aristotle, however, stands exactly at this juncture, and shifts his gaze. His philosophy contains a quiet, yet monumental revolution. Truth is not in the heavens, but in this world. For Aristotle, one must observe nature rather than merely contemplate ideals. Experimentation and observation take center stage. As he notes in his Metaphysics, being can only be understood through individual, existing things. It is from this foundation that science, astronomy, logic, and biology were born. As Jonathan Barnes points out, Aristotle was the first philosopher to examine nature systematically. It is a common misconception that Aristotle represents a total rejection of metaphysics. Aristotle is science. Yet he reached physics by way of metaphysics, notably in Book Lambda. Regarding pleasure, Aristotle is neither a denier, like Plato, nor an unrestrained advocate. As he articulates in the Nicomachean Ethics, pleasure is a good, but it becomes corruptive when it becomes the sole purpose of life. Similarly, a life defined entirely by pain and suffering is not a good life. Virtue lies in the golden mean, the balance between extremes. My advice to you is this. Whenever you find yourself at an intellectual impasse, remember the Aristotelian logic of both and. Fate both exists and does not exist. Free will both exists and does not exist. Reincarnation both exists and does not exist. Human consciousness belongs both to the physical and the metaphysical realms. These two dimensions are intertwined. In theosophical literature, the astral plane is the precursor to our physical world. Creation must first manifest in the astral. Practices such as meditation were the secrets of the sages, by which I mean the art of vocal self-suggestion. Among the philosophers of the Enlightenment, Immanuel Kant possesses the clearest, most lucid, and most logical mind. His ideas remain among the most consistent in history. Known as one of the greatest metaphysicians of all time, his 1781 work, The Critique of Pure Reason, created a Copernican revolution in the history of thought. His essay, What is Enlightenment?, is a work that modern man must carefully analyze and comprehend. Science is organized knowledge. Wisdom is organized life. In youth, the days are short and the ways are long. In old age, the days are long and the ways are short. The knowledge of Socrates and Aristotle differs from that of the sophists. They were, in fact, sages. They were initiates. Even Paracelsus was an initiate. Pedantry is the lowest level of knowledge. The Who Wants to Be a Millionaire contest is aimed at pedants. The invention of the printing press and the spread of the internet brought pedantry and scholarship to the fore.
Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a new lesson. To help me continue providing these sessions, just 1 month's contribution makes all the difference. The join button is now active on my profile.